I just want to say Maxime cannot be here tonight, right?
Yeah, well, initially we have booked him, but then apparently he has some other very important issues, and the headquarters was telling me that they had to cancel 3.5 days of his appearance. So we are just one of the unfortunate people that got canceled from him. But regardless, life goes on. The world still, turns. And so I'm happy that you guys made your way to here. And we have some other PPC candidates here. Maybe we can actually introduce you guys later on also.
Yeah, and you can appear live on my show too. So let the people know, get the word out, so to speak. Yeah, which is good. Okay, without further ado, let's listen to Maxime's immigration stance, which is quite important. Yeah. 咁聽下 Maxime Bernier 佢哋嘅黨魁咧講下佢哋嘅黨嘅移民政策係咩？咁 since I don't have a very loud speaker, so I guess I'll turn on my Mac to maximum.
I know that you are interested, like me and like a lot of Canadians, about mass immigration and what is happening to our country. When I'm speaking about mass immigration, I just want to explain to everybody that yes, the last couple of years we had too many people coming to our country. Actually, the growth of our population, if you compare that from last year to this year, was 3.2%, and the average growth of OECD and Western countries' population was 0.2%. And 97% of the growth of our population is coming from immigration. So this is mass immigration. Actually, last year we had about the newcomers or the foreigners were, the same number as the population of Saskatchewan. So this is too much, and we cannot integrate them into our society. They are living in the ghettos across the country, and actually it is hurting also our economy. Yes, when you have more people coming to our country, the growth of the economy is there. The GDP is growing, but the GDP per capita is going down because the population is growing faster than the growth of our population. So the economic pie is growing, but our piece of the pie is smaller. This is why the last 10 years we had, our purchasing power that went down, and everybody now is poorer than last year and 10 years ago. So mass immigration is having an impact on our standard of living, but also it is having an impact on, the housing crisis. Too many people are coming to our country. All these people need a roof, and that is putting pressure on prices for homes all across the country. So the only way to solve the housing crisis in our country, it is to stop mass immigration. It's a question of supply and demand. We need to stop the demand, so we need to have a moratorium on immigration. That is the position of the People's Party of Canada. We are the only national political party that is fighting to be sure that we will end that mass immigration and we will have a moratorium. It is important also to do that because our social fabric is disintegrating right now. Our social fabric with mass immigration has been affected. When you are importing people from the third world, your country is becoming a third world country. We don't want that. And that's happening because all cultures are not equal. So we need to stop that mass immigration, and the next time when we will reopen our country for immigration, we will need to select our immigrants. They will need to speak English or French because we want them to integrate into our society. But we will welcome them if we need them, because the goal of the immigration system is to fulfill our economic need when we cannot have a Canadian for a job, for example. Now that mass immigration is all cheap labor for big corporations. So you have the conservatives and the liberals who agree with mass immigration. Actually, the liberals did cause the problem and they don't want to solve it. The conservatives of Pierre Bernier are saying that they will have at least every year 250 permanent residents. 250,000, permanent residents. You need to add to that all these international students, temporary foreign workers, refugees. So that would be over the next 3 years, more than 1.5 million people coming to our country. We cannot afford that. There's a big cost for our society, and that's why we are arguing and presenting our platform, Canadians, with a strong focus on ending mass immigration. So I hope that if you have any questions, there's our candidates there, they can answer your questions. But for us it is important to explain our vision of our country to Canadians during that electoral campaign. And if you want to know more, you can always go on our website, Party of Canada.ca. You click on platform, you have all the details about our platform. I must say, don't try to find Pierre Bernier's electoral platform on the website of the Conservative Party of Canada. They don't have any. They don't know what they believe in. They need to do polling and focus group, and Bernier is not a leader, he is a follower. He is following the public opinion that has been manipulated by the leftist media. We are not, and that's why, we are a populist party, a proud populist party, and we won't change. We will always fight for the best of our country. And actually, Bernier and Carney, when they are opening our borders, like they did and like they will do, it is not working for the interest of Canadians. It is working for the interest of foreigners. That's not morally correct. If you are a leader of a party, national political party, or a leader of your country, your goal must be to work for your people, to be sure that their standard of living will increase, that they will be able to live in a country where it is secure. But that's not the case. They are putting the interest of foreigners before the interest of Canadians. So I hope that you will support the People's Party of Canada. If you like what I'm saying, I hope you'll speak about it also. There's the election day will be April 28th, so you have a lot of time to speak with your friends and your family about the People's Party of Canada. We are doing politics differently. No survey, no polling, just strong free markets, populist populist proposal and policies. So we are the only party that is fighting against globalists. All Bernier, Jack Mead, and also Carney are globalists. They are putting the interest of foreigners before the interest of Canadians. With the Paris Accord, with the Global Compact on Migration. As you know, we believe that it is a privilege to be a Canadian, and we must withdraw from the UN Global Compact on Migration. Because for the UN, migration must be normal. A citizen of Zimbabwe must be or can be a citizen of Canada. We don't believe that. That's a privilege, and Canadians must be able to choose their immigrants. But for now, let's have that moratorium, that pause on immigration for a couple of years until we solve all the problems created by mass immigration. Thank you very much. Have a nice meeting. See you soon. Stay strong and free. Bye.
Okay, actually, right now I'm going live on my channel at Etchin World. So this will last for as long as they kick us out. And they will kick us out at 9 o'clock, right?
Yes, that's
so
right.
we got around 1 hour to do Q&A and ask a lot of questions. And it's open to the floor as well. Again, my name is Etchin, and I'm just the coordinator, the host for tonight's event. I'm not with the PPC party. I'm a commentator on my channel. But I'm also an immigrant from Hong Kong many years ago. Go way back to the early 90s. It's quite encouraging to see the House of Commons increase the number of seats from 338 to 342, right? So an increase of 5 seats in this coming election. Once again, we can go back and forth in Cantonese and English. So I guess maybe the first question I want to ask, since you are the candidate for Maxime Bernier, Mimi Lee, right? You changed from another party, Green Party, to PPC, represent PPC, different color, eye-catching, right? Yeah. Why go for a smaller party? I mean, you could have joined a much bigger party. The chances of winning a seat is much bigger, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because if you join a major party, chances are, no matter who you are, once you're in the party, you have a chance to get a seat, right? But then at the same time, I think my initiative is really to work for the people, not for the party. Because major parties, the bigger parties, they have a party whip. So whenever you have any issues in the House, you're supposed to vote, but then you're voting on behalf of the party, not the people. So if you are not going to actually work for the voters, for the constituents, then why are they voting for you?
Okay. Now, I guess Maxime, right, Bernier, talk about a person from Zimbabwe. Doesn't necessarily mean that the so-called PR status will automatically be granted. You have to. It's a privilege to be Canadian.
Of course.
Right, it's a privilege. Can you tell us a little bit about your party's immigration policy? How is it different from, now, first of all, just PPC. What is its stance? I guess it's important to know. We have the lifeboat for Hong Kong, and seems like there's a huge backlog for people in the last 5 years when Hong Kong is in trouble. When Hong Kong people who are fighting for democracy, Canada has this policy to let Hong Kongers come here to study or to work, right?
Right, the Hong Kong pathway.
Yeah. So what is your party's stance on immigration?
Well, in general, our stand is we have to stop anybody coming into the country, like at least pause until we actually absorb everybody that we had already let in the last, not just 5 years, but 10 years. We had ballooned a lot of people in Canada, and as you have watched the video earlier, our social fabric has changed. A lot of things have not been able to actually catch up. Our medical system is collapsing. Education is collapsing. Like a lot of things, and we have housing crisis because we have just too many people needing a roof on top of their heads, right? So the idea is to make sure everybody who are here already will be able to live their lives first. And then we gradually reopen to accept new immigrants. And on my platform, it says really clearly, it says that we have to actually make sure we start deporting overstay people and illegal immigrants. And people who are actually abusing our system, like certain people who came here on their student visas, but never show up in their university or colleges, but they are working. And those jobs can be reclaimed back to our Canadians who has not been able to actually get their jobs back after the pandemic.
Okay, but IRCC also just announced they have 25 new categories for skilled workers, right? And then they only need the experience for like 6 months, and then they could apply. So it's not like closing all the doors, but definitely the number of people that Canada would accept has gone down.
Well, yes, but at the same time, if you look at what IRCC had been doing for the longest time, we have always been on a scoring system. So we accept new immigrants based on their skill set. Technically, it's a good thing, but the problem is, and it's also on my platform, is that new immigrants always have an issue of actually successfully integrating into our society. So a lot of people who had their professions back in their homeland, they did not get qualified again due to different reasons. Okay, so of course, one of the things Maxime says in the video also is the language barrier. So a lot of people, they came over, they don't even speak English or French. Then of course they can't immigrate well. But at the same time, there are also people, they have the professions and they probably have been in their professions for decades before they came over, but they still have an issue trying to integrate because we have so many red tapes. Imagine even in between our provinces, skilled worker want to flow from one province to another province, we have our own red tapes. So not to mention if your professions actually came from other countries. So that's one of the issues, right?
But our country is also one of the most compassionate ones, and you could get accepted based on humanitarian and compassionate grounds, and also the refugee status. Even I believe the quota has gone down. Moving forward, at least in the next couple of years, right?
Yeah.
Because definitely there are too many people.
Right, but this thing is like if you look at the other parties' platform, they are still, even though they said they are going to cut immigration numbers, the number is still quite high compared to us. Like, we are not saying that we are going to close everything. No, it's not. Like, let's say if you have families overseas, we do want you to be able to, get back to your families together. Those are human rights related things. People who really need to go away, like whatever, those are important. But we are talking about like generally, like mass immigration has to stop.
Okay. Now, one of the topics for tonight is on transnational repression. At first I thought Maxime would contribute to this very important topic, but I guess we can have this open to the floor, right? Transnational repression. 跨境鎮壓, it's one of the hottest issues in Canada, and also I guess in the US as well. Now, in your, I don't know, like the pamphlet that you prepared when you distribute it to people living in your riding, do you mention anything about transnational repression or things
not
in
in
general?
here. Well, this is my leave behind card.
Yeah, the leaflet.
Very hard to see,
Yeah.
but basically is saying deport the overstays, end conflict subsidies, reduce crime, and end foreign aid.
People kind of condemn the Liberal Party getting too close with the Chinese Communist Party, especially during election time. And then some of our MPs with ethnic Chinese background from mainland China, they have a lot of, coercion, things like that. But it's not quite proven, but it's also well written in the media, the Globe and Mail and all that. And even one of the former MPs from Richmond, I guess Kenny Chu.
Kenny Chu?
Yeah. A lot of the interviews that have been done on why he lost the seat, right? During his campaign.
Yep.
But he is not running right now, and I know Kenny personally. I wish him all the best. And it seems like there are only 3 pro-democracy candidates originally from Hong Kong who are campaigning, all from different parties. One from NDP, one from CP, and you are from PPC, right? What do you think about this transnational repression? Is it very surreal? It's something that's quite invisible. The normal day-to-day people cannot feel it, cannot see it. So how bad is it?
How bad is it? Well, I think after the incident with one of our current MP had decided to drop out the race.
Yes, it's in
Markham Union.
Uniondale, okay.
Yeah, so it's not.
He was a former policeman in Canada.
That's right.
Right.
He was a former policeman,
Yeah.
and still, from him, he was openly telling people that people could do certain things, which is exactly what we were talking about. It's not something that invisible. It has always been there. It's just that whether people really want to open their eyes and take a look.
Okay, so how's it like if I say something bad about the Chinese Communist Party? I will be locked up and then put in a place inside Canada, and my whole body will be shipped to mainland China in a container. Is that how it works?
We don't know how that works, but imagine we knew already way back a few years ago, right? Like we had a bookstore seller, like he got shipped from Sweden to China.
That's Mr. Quay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was abducted in Thailand. From Thailand to China.
Yeah.
But this is Canada, right?
Well,
Can the CCP has a long arm and?
Well, the CCP has a whole lot of amount of police station in Canada. We know that, right?
Okay, but we also rely them on cheap goods, right?
Well, that's the thing. How much do we want to feed them more with all these goods, right? Like that's the thing. Like, where do you want to draw the line?
So Canada cannot be like a satellite country of the Chinese Communist Party, right? We cannot. Of course.
I hope not.
Of course we cannot, right?
If we are not willing to be a 51st state, we better not.
It's like issuing debts to some African countries, and if those countries cannot repay, they gain their port, seaport, right?
Right.
Yeah, same theory.
One belt, one road.
Yeah. So you'll be very adamant about speaking up for Hong Kong as well if you get elected, and talking about.
I have been.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Tell us about it.
Well.
What have you done in the last few years when you say you stand with Hong Kong, maybe because most of the audience might not know who you are, at least on there. Yeah.
Well, basically, since 2019, I had worked with some other fellow Canadians, fellow Torontonians actually. We formed a group and we had been echoing all the issues in Hong Kong to raise awareness within the Canadian society, right? So one of our signature events was that we had distributed 7,000 T-shirts at the Scotia Arena so that people were aware what was happening. And that was back in 2019 October. So that year we had the Reptiles was our championship, and so on the championship night, opening game night, we had done that and we had global coverage on it. So we fast forward later on in 2021, when the whole thing in Hong Kong actually got a lot more severe. I was also one of the Canadian Hong Kongers actually lobbying the government regarding how we can help the Hong Kong people. And that's hence how the Hong Kong pathway was launched. And then fast forward a little bit also is that I also initiated a petition in the House of Commons, and that eventually got into motion, which led directly to the committee that had actually put out the hearing last year regarding the infiltration and interference on 2019 and 2021 election.
Yeah.
And we have a bill passed, so we are on the way to be able to actually to have a what do you call that, foreign agent registry. So with that said, then who is actually going to not work for the Canadians, and whatever they are lobbying the government on behalf of some other governments, wherever that is, they have to declare.
Okay. I guess maybe a few more questions on the Hong Kong Canada linkage, then we'll talk more about campaign strategy. Okay. If you become an MP, right? And when? Yeah, when you become an MP, right? Yeah, and it's like climbing Mount Everest. It's not easy. We all know that. You know, it's a smaller party, and we really want more representation. Don't get me wrong. Like either PPC or some other parties. Yeah, it's important to have that diversity. How would you be very vocal to talk about the political hostage situation in Hong Kong, since you were born in Hong Kong and then you call Canada home, and then a lot of people are still incarcerated. 500,000 Canadian passport holders are living in Hong Kong, right? Can we drive a campaign? Can we drive a campaign for those who are incarcerated? And a lot of them, they have been to Canada, and it's not something that is unfamiliar for Hong Kong, right? And then it seems like whether you like the Trudeau government or not, you know, the two Michaels actually got released during his time as Prime Minister, right? With Wang Wenzhou, that's they say political swap or not. You as when you become an MP, what more creative and entrepreneurial way can you recommend the government to do, assuming it's either the Liberal or Conservative will be in real power?
Well, you've got to understand first and foremost, as a third party in Canada or overseas, we can't really do a whole lot to try to change and other countries how they are going to work their own policies towards
What
their
you
own land.
propose to the Canadian government by advocating like the Magnitsky Act, sanctioning.
Oh, that's for sure,
Yeah.
because we already have it, and
Yeah.
we have been sanctioning people. But then the thing is, like, you can see that.
Not Canada, but U.S. has a list just to add another 6 people, right? Under the Department of State, under Marco Rubio, right? But Canada has done nothing, right? You as let's assume that the PPC won 3 seats in this upcoming election, and let's say all 3 of you care about the Hong Kong situation. What would you do? I mean, I know one person from NDP, MP Jenny Guan. She has done a lot for Hong Kong, and then there's another candidate representing CP. But you, let's say, assuming the party won 3 seats, what would you do?
Well, we don't really need 3 seats or whatever, because one MP can already push a motion.
Right?
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's in the House whether all the MPs across different parties willing to work together. You see, the Hong Kong pathway was a beautiful example that all the MPs were willing to work together. And I'm sure if we want to do any sanctioning on any country's people who are violating human rights, it is something that we can do for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like President Xi Jinping or General Secretary Xi Jinping belittled our country, right? When he met with Justin Trudeau, the former MP, in South America, basically he doesn't give him that much respect.
Well, he hasn't had much respect from a lot of people.
Right. But I just want to see, you are really representing the interest, first of all, for Canada, and secondly, because the Hong Kong situation is also an international issue. If people in this room believe that Hong Kong was a major international city before, and then now things are more like a downward spiral because of the tyranny, right? Locally, what is the party stance on LGBTQ for your party? We want to know.
Well, we think everybody is supposed to be equal, no matter what their take, how they want their lives to be lived. Everybody should be equal, and nobody should have any preference or get discriminated. Fair?
It's the health system of Canada sponsoring, let's say, a gender change, sex change operation. Are we sponsoring that, or is it they have to pay to do the change? I don't know.
I have no clue on this. Anybody knows?
Yeah, because I talked to some parents and they say it's too early when they're in grades 5 and 6 talking about.
That is something that we don't want these kind of topics to be bring into the school, because
Too early.
It's not necessary, and those are things that the kids can decide when they grow up. So just let them to be kids.
Yeah, that's the PPC stance, or is it?
That's the PPC stand.
Okay, so accepting each person as an individual.
That's right.
Yeah.
And whenever they want to do whatever, until they're 18 and until they're actually mature to do educational choices, to make their decision, then they can do what they want to do.
Okay. Anything you can shed light on regarding the tariff situation, U.S. and Canada? Now, the current MP, Mark Carney, it's get more respect from Donald Trump on the surface. Seems like at least he calls him Prime Minister, right? So, what do you think Canada can do better in terms of tackling the tariff situation?
Well, I think Max had talked about it multiple times in different interviews. We should just open the agreement with Mexico and US and just redo the whole thing to make it work. Because if things are not working, putting tariff on goods is just going to make everything more expensive ourselves. You put tariff on the US goods, we are going to pay for it. The US putting tariff on their goods, then they are going to pay for it. They are already suffering. That's why you see all the crazy demonstrations and everything in the States already. So we have to reopen that agreement and talk again. And ourselves, within Canada, as I said, we have so many red tapes even within our own country, province to provinces. Then we have to actually just break that all down and just make things work for ourselves.
Okay. Another health issue, then I guess we can open everything to the floor. Fentanyl issue. Now in BC, Vancouver, I heard there's a very young Chinese boy was taking some drugs, fentanyl related, and he died very quickly. And then they made a lot of noise in the community about it, right? And then in the US, President Trump was condemning fentanyl import from Canada, Mexico, and China. Is it a very big issue, you think, in Canada, the use of drugs, and then of course marijuana? It's you can get so-called drugs, right, quite easily, right? What is your stance? Not you don't have to toe along the party line all the time, but what do you think of that?
Well, drugs has always been an issue. Like it's for decades already. Drug has always been an issue. But then at the same time, whether that is the real issue regarding President Trump wants to do different things, it could be, but I personally think is actually an excuse more. Because he wants to do what he wants to do, and he has to come up with some excuses, right? So that's actually one of them. But then at the same time, I think the drug issue, it always and also have linked to money laundering.
Okay.
So it's a huge thing. It's not just one single issue.
I know one party. I talked to some people from NDP. They think you cannot stop drugs, but you should open some centers for people that has a drug use. And of course, we do have those centers, right? It's not something that could be eliminated. I mean, some people use syringes, and you want the syringes to be clean if you have to use it. That's their own choice, right? But your personal stance, what do you think about the drug usage situation in Canada? Like soft drugs, whatever. I cannot name all the names, but can you shed some light on that? You think the schools in Canada, they have been too liberal on that? Not the party, but too liberal in terms of drug use?
I guess in general, Canada is quite liberal in a lot of things. They tend not to put a whole lot of rules around things and just let people do whatever they want. So that's just how the outcome when you are not really, I can't say govern, but if you're talking about school, you have to parent them a lot tighter than just let them, bring whatever to school, right?
Okay. Now, I have run some campaigns in Hong Kong, helping the smaller parties to win some seats in the district council. And I always believe in not just the majority, but the smaller parties, hopefully they will gain traction and gain seats and gain noises as well. Can you kindly just introduce those people who are campaigning and also they're contesting for a seat on April 28th? There are some guests here.
Yeah. Can we come out?
Maybe come to the front so those who listen to our English part.
Who are actually running right now?
Yeah.
What is,
What, like a camera grab?
Yeah, it's a camera. So this is Hamilton.
Come to the front.
Move the camera up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can introduce and maybe you can introduce yourself, which riding and.
Yeah, my name is Bing Wong, and I am the candidate for the People's Party in the riding of Hamilton Mountain.
Yeah, I am Stephen Mack. I'm the candidate in Simcoe North, that's near Aurelia and Midland. I'm also the Ontario representative for the BPC, so I like to help candidates all over Ontario.
Hello, I am Pamela Geiger. I'm the candidate in Long Range Mountains, Newfoundland, actually just here doing some business and supporting our local candidates.
Great, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for it.
Yeah, Newfoundland is great.
So I heard you almost fill all the seats, right?
We're getting close. We have, I think we're over 300, so the final number won't be known until the 9th, but yeah, we're getting up there. We're trying to get all the seats.
Yeah, 342 is the.
343.
343.
Okay, so I think we were getting close to 320 when I last heard, but sometimes candidates drop out at the last minute, so we don't know the exact number yet.
Okay, yeah, would be interesting.
And there is another one.
Oh, so for people
Candidate
from
introductions.
BBC, in case.
Okay, well, introduce yourself. Which riding?
Oh, my name is Amir Hart. I'm the People's Party candidate for Thornhill. It's just beside Markham Thornhill, and just like it, it's a beautiful area, great community, and been with the party for a while, just running around willy-nilly. We were just out actually canvassing today, and door knocking all over. I've seen that Mimi's been doing that all over the place, seeing her signs coming in. It's fantastic. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I guess we can go to part 2, which is let the audience ask questions.
Or, just raise some discussion. You don't have to ask questions, like some comments or whatever.
Or make a lot of comments.
Yeah.
And we can switch channel as well, right?
Yeah.
即係廣東話、英文都得，
Both
係咪？
Cantonese and English will be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So anyone has any comments?
I'd like to ask, have you been knocking on doors and what kind of reaction do you get? Because the party is not very well known, and from my experience, being from a riding that this year even doesn't have a candidate, but he's running elsewhere, it's not enough to just during the campaign to come with a sign or whatever. Probably there could be, during the year, some low-level grassroots actions like, I don't know, garage sales or car washing or, post your signage there and do the same so that you get some traction and visibility.
Yeah,
Repeat the question for the YouTube audience.
So the question would be, what kind of reaction did you get when you knocked on doors, which I imagine that you did so far, like, do they close the door into your nose, who are you, whatever, or are they a little bit more receptive, or what's the...
So in Cantonese, 嗰位女士就係問我去人哋屋企嘅時候咧，敲入人哋門啦，咁人哋會有啲咩反應咧 ？In general， so in order to actually give you your answer. In general, like majority of the time, yes, people are saying that who you are. Like I don't know PPC and what do you stand for. So the first thing, first and foremost, is PPC is for the people. The People's Party is for the people. And then I briefly tell them who I am and give them my leave behind cards and tell them, like check my platform. And there are, more choices than what you think you have. So yes, it's not easy, but then at the same time, if the people actually at the door chat with me and let's say that I ask them, what's your concern? Like what is it that you want to make changes if you have somebody that's going to work with you. And they tell me their concerns and then I will chat with them. And chances are, if they talk to me, they like me. 咁我頭先就答佢咧，就係話其實大部分嘅人咧，因為 PPC 係真係新嘅黨啦，同埋細啦，咁佢哋都係話係唔識呢一個黨嘅，咁我就會俾我個 leave behind card 俾佢啦，咁就同佢講，即係大概我係咩人啦，做啲乜嘢啊，咁就會問佢哋有啲乜嘢，即係社區入邊有啲咩唔開心啊各樣嘅嘢啦，咁如果佢哋同我哋，即係如果佢哋肯同我傾偈嘅話咧。佢哋都覺得我係 OK 嘅。
Mimi, can I add that we're always looking for volunteers that want to actually get out and help spread the word? So if you would like to get involved or people that could help, we would be super welcoming for you to actually come out and help us get materials, do what you can, talk to your friends, but we are always looking for volunteers to help us get this grassroots message out. So we need more people to get involved and to get curious. And we welcome people to.
係啦，咁頭先我呢位另外係 Newfoundland 嘅 candidate 就話啦，我哋係好需要義工嘅，因為我哋個黨實在係太細啦，又冇乜人，咁所以如果咧大家係有興趣嘅，想幫助個社區係有改變嘅話，咁就麻煩你哋過嚟幫我哋手啦，我哋係好需要人嘅。
其實即係比例代表制咧，就係咪會易啲贏咧？咁依家
應該係嘅。
呢個加拿大新民主制度之後就難搞啲，係咪？
So he was just saying, if we had proportional representation system, the electoral system, if it can be changed, then it would be a little bit easier for the smaller party, and that's absolutely the case.
係啊，仲有冇啲其他啲問題啊？移民問題、社區問題 ？Once again, you could ask the question in 廣東話 or English. Doesn't matter. I'm just rolling the live stream until it crashes.
Now, while we don't have any questions or comments from the floor, I want to let you know that, first of all, we have a donation booth on the other side there. So if you are willing to and have the desire to donate us some cash today, we are welcome. You can do whatever amount that you could. And we actually had, like under my campaign, we have this Little Caesar fundraising thingy. So what it is that, so they have a few different, well, check it later on. So they have different pizza kits. So these are things that you take home to do. So it's not like we are selling hot pizza, but it's actually pizza kits and also cookie kits that you can bring home with your family. If you have kids, make cookies with your kids or with your loved ones, that kind of thing. So each kit that we sell, we get $6 to our fund, to our campaign. So you can let us know. We can take order here, or you can do it online. Either way works. So this is something interesting and fun.
好啊，咁或者又 open to the floor 啦嚇，你可以問一問。後邊坐喺度嘅朋友，有冇人即係都係？
Again, so maybe I wasn't here from the beginning, but what's your professional background and how many years have you been in the writing?
My professional background, I have been a financial advisor over 20 years, and I have done quite a number of different freelancing and contracting stuff, including I was an editor, I was a news anchor, I was a program coordinator, I am still, right now, an officiant. So I do quite a lot of different things that...
For wedding, officiant for wedding.
Yes, officiant for weddings. And so that gives me a lot of different insights from meeting different people across different ages.
That's good. Happy events, right?
Yes, happy events.
Officiant.
Yep. But at the same time, officiants also do life celebration. So
Life celebration, funeral
yes.
celebration. Yeah. Okay. 好，後邊有冇人有問題想發問下？
Mimi, this week, when you're knocking on doors, what concerns have the people told you that they have?
A lot of them are telling me that they are not happy with the crime rate has gone up so much. That's one of the major thing actually. And then they were saying, how come nothing is happening to get that control? And then at the same time, all they see the cities are putting more red lights camera, more speed cameras. So they are actually trying to make more money, but then at the same time, the city is not under control. So.
Is that federal, municipal, or provincial responsibility?
Well, there are things that the federal government can do, but majority of that particular issue that she was telling me is really on the municipal level more. As a matter of fact, when you actually go out and talk to people, knocking on doors, canvassing, you realize a lot of people have no clue which level of government deal with what. So, but at the same time, it's okay. Then I would tell them, like these are things that you should, go and chat with your city councilor, and certain things you need to go and talk to your MPP. But then at the same time, there are things also is that we could change, just like what we were saying, is that if we control the immigration, if we actually make sure IRCC's policy eventually is going to streamline the people to where they're supposed to go instead of everybody come in and become an Uber driver, all that stuff, certain things to a degree can be done on the federal level.
阿黃導演有冇嘢想發問啊？
暫時冇。
暫時冇。
我哋咁樣點人名都得。
Okay. Okay, perhaps you can share with us, the clock is kind of ticking. You only got, 3 more weeks?
3 weeks, yes.
Yeah, 3 more weeks to do your canvassing. What is the strategy to win this seat? Like statistically, it's very difficult. Yeah, and then you did it a few years ago versus the Liberal, right? And the incumbent MP is not running. Right?
That's right.
From your writing. Have they found a replacement?
I have not seen, oh yes. Actually, they have got their signs on also. Yeah.
Another lady?
No, it's
It's a gentleman.
Gentleman, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Actually, I'm running against right now the Conservative is a gentleman and the Liberal is a gentleman. We haven't seen the NDP
Sign?
candidate yet.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can put one sign up near where I live, yeah. I think I live quite close to your riding, right?
I thought you said you're in my riding.
Your riding, okay.
I thought you openly told people that you had voted for me.
In your riding, yeah, that's right, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if you want a lawn sign, it's right there.
Yeah.
I have some in the car.
How do you call those things?
Lawn sign?
Just lawn sign?
Lawn
Yeah.
signs, yes.
How many have you printed up?
I printed 100.
100? Wow, yeah, precious.
Yeah, well, we don't need 500, 5,000.
Okay.
Not right now, anyway.
Does it have your face on or the picture?
Yes,
The lawn,
that's right. The people
the lawn
on
thing.
the.
Do you have a sign? So you need 2 sticks, right?
Well, you will have a flame. You see, this is the challenge because your
Yeah, I use
camera
right.
is not focusing on.
Those.
Yeah, can't see it.
This is a special thumbnail.
Yeah, can't see it. But actually, oh, you know what? It is this.
Same thing, right?
This.
It's easy.
Hey.
Okay, that's you.
Yeah, this is this one.
Yeah.
It's the same picture on my lawn sign.
Do you have to pay all the costs when audience asks?
Of course, I pay all the costs.
So unlike a big party, they absorb all the costs.
Well, the big parties, they have something called EDA. And the big parties have established for so long, they would have collected a lot of donations over the years.
Yeah.
So they will be able to just ask the EDA for expenses, which we don't have that luxury. And we need donations.
Okay, yeah. But also, it's easier to represent your party. Over there, 3 people within the same party fight for one riding, right? And there are pros and cons.
Well, that depends because there are times that they have only 1 or 2 people on each riding also. So it's different times and I think it's a lot of luck too, right?
If we can organize some sort of online dialogue similar to this one, would you be interested to do it for your riding? Just your riding?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so
You
somebody
have to contact them. I mean, we got time.
somebody's asking. Okay, so obviously the question that this person is asking is that he or she, her candidate is not allowed to print his or her photo on lawn signs. Is that true? Of course not, because Mary Ng has her face on lawn signs last time, and a lot of other candidates put their face on the lawn sign. So I don't know where you get this information from.
Okay, Sheena is one of our loyal supporters.
Oh, okay. But obviously you got the wrong information.
I think she lives in Canada somewhere. Yeah, which province I don't know. Anything else from the floor? Your colleagues who are campaigning, any tips, anything we can cheer you up? I know some of them, they have more time, they can help you out. But then,
Nobody has more time now. Like that's why I'm appreciating them actually showing up to this event.
Yeah.
Because like everybody is in very, very crunch time.
Yeah.
Try to get the thing going.
Yeah. No, I see. But Joe Tay's lawn signs have no photos.
It's their choice. It's people's choices whether what they want to put.
Okay.
And also, of course, sometimes majority of the time, actually, all parties will have some sort of a template or whatever. So people just basically want to put what they want along what the party allows them to do. That's just how it is.
Okay. How about your colleagues? Do they have their photos on in the long side?
I think one of our templates from the party has Max's photo.
Many do.
Many do.
Yeah, I have some with a face, some are plain, depends on the size.
Yeah.
But it's certainly legal to have your face on it. It costs more to print, but our party allows more autonomy for the individual candidates. We don't have strong rules. We have general guidelines. You must use our brand properly, but what message you say, that's up to you, because we want to represent the people in their own writing. So to be a representative of a different kind of writing, a city or country, you have to have a different approach and you may have a different kind of candidate. We allow that. And in Parliament, one thing that's very important about the PPC is we don't whip votes. And people may not know that jargon, but the Liberals, Conservatives, and NDP, when the leader decides on a bill how you're supposed to vote, all the party members must vote the same. They have no autonomy. We make fun of them. We call them potted plants, or we call them clapping seals. PPC candidate answers to their people, not to the party leader or the party.
Whip the vote.
Yeah, we won't whip votes.
咁頭先嗰個Stephen 啦，佢就係話緊俾大家聽咧，就係唔係淨係我有我張相喺個 long 山度嘅，係有其他嘅 candidate 咧都會做呢件事嘅。咁 PPC 本身咧就有一個guideline， 但係佢哋就唔係好緊咁樣話俾我哋知，我哋需要做啲咩，或者係想做啲咩，因為每一個社區啦，每一個人啦，代表唔同嘅人。唔同嘅佢自己嗰個地方咧，嗰個 message 都會有機會唔一樣嘅。
Okay. Would you like to ask your colleague from Hamilton, forgot his name, to come out? Bing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about your strategy. When you talk about Hamilton, I always think of McMaster University. Is that where you campaign or?
I'm on the mountain, so McMaster's below the mountain and in the west side of the city, so not in my riding specifically. My riding on the Hamilton Mountain, very working class, traditionally gone NDP or Liberal, but in the provincial it just went Conservative, which is noteworthy.
Interesting.
Have you started canvassing?
Yeah.
What's the strategy?
You know what, I found canvassing to be a lot easier than I was expecting. And people were very pleasant, actually. I think there's a lot of folks are pretty upset with the status quo and are not really sure which way to vote. And the People's Party brings something that's actually different to the table right now. Certainly, for I'm going to say our demographic, non-boomer, I'll say, which can be a derogatory term at times. I don't mean it that way. I just mean for folks in we'll say mid-40s and down. I think most people are still pretty. The word that is used is salty. Over the last 5 years, they're pretty upset about COVID and having their businesses shut down and having their kids locked out of school. That's primarily the reason why I'm here. I'm really upset about that, and I can't vote for any of these parties that at the provincial or the federal level that did this to us. And so, Max Bernier and the rest of the folks of the People's Party were the ones that were the most vocal against it, and so that's why I'm running.
Tell us about how you get your first 100 voters to nominate. Signatures, yeah.
I had to.
Is it difficult?
How
many days do you get those 100?
It took maybe 2-3 weeks.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, so my wife has been very involved in our kids' parent councils at the elementary school and the high school. So we knew everybody in the community, or a lot of the folks in the community that felt the way that we did about the last 5 years. And so it wasn't hard to go and get 20, 30, 40 right after that. And then we're working very closely. As an EDA, there's 5 or 6 of us in the Hamilton area, and all of the candidates are collaborating quite a bit.
What is EDA?
Electoral District Association.
Association.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say two of the other candidates or their teams, if they knew people that were below the mountain, then they would get a page for the candidate in that riding, and then they would have a signature page for me for folks in my riding.
Oh, that's nice.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Yeah, it definitely that helped a lot.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I have that.
Well, some of the candidates have run before, and some of us are new, and so we learn from each other.
How did you first get to know the PPC party?
I've been voting for Max since the first time that he ran, because he was telling the truth about stuff even before COVID, and then when COVID came around, he was the only guy telling the truth. And so, yeah, that's really the appeal thus far for me, is that there really is no other option for people that were telling the truth about the vaccines and
What did he say about the vaccines? Tell us.
He was against vaccination, forced vaccination. I mean, if you want to take vaccines, by all means, go and do so. But the fact that people were fired, in particular, I know, dozens of doctors who were fired, and their patients wanted them to be their doctor, and the doctors wanted to be the doctor for those patients, but because they spoke out, they were fired. And so now there are dozens of communities across this country that lost some of their key general practitioners in there, and a lot of those folks are still in the wind. They're still not able to practice.
Now, since you are also campaigning, trying to win a seat in the parliament, do we have a fentanyl huge issue?
You know what? That is not my forte. Right? So I'd be kind of just winging it if I tried to answer a question. I've been fortunate enough to keep myself and my family away from that kind of stuff, and I've not been affected by it. So probably better to ask that question to folks that are more directly affected by that.
Well, people living around Hastings area in Vancouver, they definitely have to.
Yeah, I've been there. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, last chance to contribute to a question or just to express your opinion.
Yeah, what do you guys think, like this election actually? Like for those who are not running, the voters, what do you think right now? What's happening right now?
I didn't pay enough, so this thing will shut down very soon. Just a joke.
嗰啲係選民嗰啲咧，有冇嘢講啊？而家究竟呢個加拿大而家呢個咁嘅情況？
What?
I don't know what to say. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that it's very problematic that candidates are dropping or dropped based on some comment that they made 10 years ago. It's also very problematic that candidates are imposed strategically from the center, people who have not lived in the riding. Nobody knows about them.
Oh,
we are supposed to vote about it. How can you
The
represent
issue of the party specialing candidates in different ridings.
Yeah, parachuting them. I think the candidate has to represent.
Well, that has always been an issue with bigger.
So that's
Parties.
why personally I'm going to not vote. I won't vote liberal for a number of reasons, and I was prepared to vote conservative because there's no PPC in our riding. But with this situation, I'm just going to show up and decline the ballot.
Yeah, that's just a very good choice.
Because what else can I do, right? It's unfathomable to me that you can come from above and say, oh, you vote for this guy. Nobody knows, not offering even, who is this person?
Right, and majority of them don't even show up at your door. They don't even show up at any debates. 咁頭先嗰個女士講咩咧？佢就係話咧，嗰啲大黨咧時常都會無端端擠一個候選人喺唔同嘅選區入邊。咁嗰個社區完全唔識佢嘅，咁但係就即係諗住係你有呢個顏色，咁我就擠你落去啦咁樣樣。咁其實我哋即係大家都好知道有呢啲咁嘅情況嘅，我亦都即係講咗唔止一次啦。大黨時常都係咁嘅，佢哋就係 即係覺得佢喺邊度中意擺邊個落去，佢就擺邊個落去，將嗰啲候選人咧可能響唔同嘅社區做咗好多年社區嘅嘢，build up 咗好多嘢都好啦，佢就嘣聲咁就掉佢去第度。咁嗰個女士就係話咧，佢因為佢個選區咧係冇 PPC 嘅候選人，所以佢就唯有咧就會走去就係 reject 佢嗰個 ballot。
You know what I would suggest to do? Write down PPC on your ballot. Just to show it.
Yeah, but then they would discard it, won't be counted.
With what you're writing?
Ballots like that in order to make a stand on one.
Well, we get started with the very first one.
好，咁咧就而家啱啱5分鐘，多謝大家收聽收睇今日呢一個 PPC 選舉直播，就呢一個 Markham Thornhill 區嘅候選人係
Next to nothing. I'm not going to vote for him because I don't know who the person is. Because I just don't like this dictatorship style. Democracy means, okay, we have a number of, it's a big writing, right? So the idea was, you select, you vote for the candidate of the party, not...
Yeah, I think so.
I think PPC has a candidate for the really vote.
Who?
His name is Yvonne
Don't take. He's from Markham or something like that. By the way, he is in my writing.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Well,
the other don't know.
lucky you.
I won't vote for him. I won't.
Well, that was so close to be in my writing.
Yeah.
Too close.
Okay, I'll look him up. He runs in
But he has not confirmed with Election Canada, right?
Yeah, still until then.
Right.
Everyone's working hard.
Yeah.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah. That's why, it's good that you come. Otherwise, you don't know. Yeah.
Well, hopefully it will be on the website.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets himself confirmed. Yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah, I thought I'd add a bit to your concern, madam, about how the large parties, they parachute candidates. They take advantage of the psychology of a lot of voters who vote for a party. And our system was originally designed to have local representation. You hear the term riding. That was the distance a person could ride on a horse in one day. That's why I made it that. And the idea was that you have a representative for your region. We get the smartest people in Canada. They go to Ottawa and make all the decisions. And it was MP first, and they happen to have a leader. Now, if you look on TV, there's a lot of talk about leaders. I'm going to vote for Poilievre. I'm going to vote for Carney. I'm going to vote for Maxime Bernier. But unless you're in Carleton riding, you can't vote. If you're here, you can't vote for Maxime Bernier. You can vote for Mimi. And that's again related to this vote business.
Because, I would vote for her, but I'm bound to vote in my writing.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it's fair. If anybody can run in any writing, why can't I go? There is a PPC candidate I want to support. Why can't I reassign?
So, yeah, these parties want to sell the party and they've forgotten the people. And we're different that way. We are setting out to be representatives of the people in a riding. And in my riding, I spend a lot of time talking to people who are different from me. Okay, I'm kind of a libertarian thinker, a little bit conservative, but I spend more time talking to liberals, NDPers, and Greens than I do with conservatives, because I want to convince them of the following idea. If you vote for me, you might not agree with my political views, but I am committed to represent the political views of the people in my riding. So you don't have to like me, because if you vote for me, I'll be very aggressively representing you. I will not have my party leader telling me what to do. And I speak with my MP all the time. He's a conservative, but I don't fight these guys. I try to be friends with the members of other parties so I can learn how they think, because if I get elected, I may have an NDP supporter come and ask for help. I need to understand how they think, and I'm not going to call them a libtard and kick them out of my office. So as soon as you're elected, you have to take your purple pins and stuff and put them away. And you have to become a representative of the people. The party should only matter while you're campaigning because it maybe has some value of an ideology and a platform. It's like you're a brand and she would be the local franchise. So the PPC is truly different. And by the way, we support electoral reform. It's not on our webpage, but Maxime announced it in Barrie in 2022. We're going to put it in next year into the platform. We try to not talk about it because it's very obviously to our own advantage, so we might be accused of trying to make the game better for us. But we believe it is better for democracy. I work with my MP, and I encourage him to vote on certain bills a certain way. And he'll honestly tell me, he may agree with me, but he cannot vote the way he wants because the party whip and the leader says you have to do it differently. And if you want a career in a party politics with our Canadian parties, you have to follow the leader or you're kicked out. And you can see in the news, it happens all the time. People who speak their mind get kicked out. Jody Wilson-Raybould, good example. Jane Philpott, another example. Like Trudeau liked to kick strong women out of his party. Like what was he saying in 2015? He didn't do it. And these are examples of MPs who didn't follow the leader and they got in trouble. PPC doesn't have that problem. When we have a caucus meeting, it'll be a big argument. There'll be so many opinions because we're a free speech party. There is not always one answer for everything. So I would like you to think of the PPC as a different way of going about it. And if you're disappointed in your normal parties, send a message. Vote for the PPC to tell them you're getting tired, you're getting old, your brand is dead, and it's time for something new. I've even heard conservatives who will vote PPC and say, I'm voting PPC because I want to make the Conservative Party better. Because we're keeping them honest. We're saying, if you keep drifting towards the left or being compromising on everything, you're going to be punished. We have affected the system. There's a lot of, we know what platform planks the Conservatives are copying from us. Even the Liberals are copying our idea, like eliminating inter-provincial trade barriers. We were seeing that in 2019, nobody listened, now everyone's talking about it. We're the I told you so party. When we said mass immigration would destroy our society, we were called racists, xenophobes, all kinds of bad names. Now, we are the only party that represents the majority view of Canadians. So we're the mainstream of the future. So get with us now and be part of the Canada of the future. Vote for the other guys. If you're happy with everything going on, yeah, go vote for those guys. But I really don't think you're happy. So maybe you should try a new brand. That's all I want to say.
I think you should also talk about the issue with strategic voting. Because now, even though when I am talking to a lot of people, they are still saying, oh, you know what, we don't want this party to go in, so we'll have to vote for the other one.
Yeah, the Conservatives say that a lot. My answer to that is we split all the votes. People think we're a club of the Conservatives think we're a club of extra grouchy, rebellious Conservatives. We are not. I don't know the exact numbers, but 2 years ago, 35% of our new members were ex-NDP. We convert NDPers, we convert Greens. Sometimes. Somebody said between 15 and 25% of our members are ex-Conservatives. So the Conservatives are pushing this line. I answer them and say, thank you for the compliment. Because when all you bring up is a technicality, it means you have no argument about our platform. They do not attack our platform. They know our platform is better than theirs. Because we don't compromise. We have values. And you know what? When you have values, it's easy to do politics. Because if a surprise comes, we'll ask, okay, what are we going to do? Whatever we do must respect individual freedom. Whatever we do, when we're making laws or regulations, we want to think, let's trust the citizens to take responsibility for their own lives. Don't treat the citizens like cattle or children. So we sometimes don't need a law for things because people naturally do the right thing. And then fairness, we believe in fairness, meaning if you're going to have a law, have it apply to everyone equally. No special deals for special groups or businesses or unions or ethnic groups. No, it's the individual and anything else is unfair. And then respect. Don't be mean. Try to respect people, don't attack them, listen to them, and free speech is behind all of those. Because if you can't speak freely, well, you can't make decisions, you can't get along with your neighbors. So we're also, I recommend if you want to get into the theoretical side of the PPC, look at Maxime Bernier's speech on radical decentralization. He did a speech in Alberta a couple of years ago, and he explains that we want to push the power back down to the people to do more things locally, because Ottawa can't understand your life. It's far away. It's easy to say, oh, I don't like homeless people, that upsets me. I'll write a check to Ottawa, they'll fix it. Did you ever think of maybe helping them out yourself? Or having your community groups help people? So we care about people. We just care about them so much that we don't think the government should be the one doing everything. Because civil society for thousands of years has solved our social problems. And you saw during the pandemic, the government broke the webs of trust in our communities. You couldn't go to your hairdresser, which is the safest place you could go. They broke that. You could go to Walmart and mix your germs with everyone else. So that broke trust. What we need to do is get Canadians confident again in themselves. Because when citizens are confident in themselves, they don't need a whole lot of government. And right now, people have lost their confidence. They don't think they can get ahead. They think the world's going to hell. Please save me, government. Well, that's how we got in a mess in the first place. So I'll try to end with that. Sorry for talking too much.
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay, 咁自由時間 I guess we can all mingle until 9 o'clock
Yeah,
before they kick us out.
that's right.
And please help yourself with the drinks and
Maybe we'll
snacks.
circle this